On today's show, if you can't catch fish, how about taking fish pictures underwater? Time to meet a professional fish photographer. Plus, a group of anglers wade into the world of fly fishing for trout for the first time on Wisconsin's Kinni Creek.
And it's summer season, which means...
Speaking of trout, Laura, Shara, and Chef Jim go wild in the kitchen with trout on the menu.
Fishing.
And our Minnesota-bound classic this week remembers a fishing trip with a priest who didn't have to pray to catch a fish. Those stories and more next.
Minnesota Bound. Brought to you by Minnesota's select GMC dealers.
Hi everybody, Raven and I welcome you to the show. You know, if you're an angler like I am, one of the eternal mysteries is about life under the water. Well, in our first story, we bring you the life and times of an underwater photographer who brings us some of those answers. When you enter the underwater world, Jacques Cousteau once noted, you can fly in any direction, up, down, sideways, by merely flipping a hand.
It's a different world. You can't even imagine.
Underwater, man becomes an archangel.
Well, let's say we motor out there and put on the gear, get in the water, and see what we can see.
Okay.
All right. My office is the lake.
Correction. Eric Engbretson's office is down under the lake, and so are his colleagues, the fish, who are his business partners, so to speak, in Engbretson's underwater photography. Have shutter, we'll dive.
Here's my idea. What we could do today is this bar right out here is rocky and...
There's lots of structure, lots of rock, and schools of walleye, perch, and smallmouth bass.
By the way, this isn't the Bahamas. Could be a clear lake anywhere in Minnesota or Wisconsin. Like a rock, Eric quickly sinks into a mystery older than the moon. It's life underwater.
It was kind of magical how it happened. One day I was just standing on the dock, it was a sunny day in the middle of summer, and I looked down into the water, and I was just struck by how clear it was. And just on a whim, I decided to go into town, buy a mask and snorkel and some flippers, went underwater, and I saw more fish that first hour than I'd seen all year fishing. I couldn't believe it. It was a life-changing moment.
Then came an underwater camera.
Over the years, I got better cameras, and I got better at using them, and eventually I got some pictures that were in focus and not half bad. Sent one to a fishing magazine back in '93, and they bought it, and they paid me money for it. Wow, I could be the person to provide these kinds of pictures. That's when the dream was born, and it's just kind of grown since then. Sure, there are little tricks. You can mimic things and make little motions with your fingers maybe to attract them. The easiest fish to photograph is smallmouth bass. They're just naturally curious, naturally friendly. Other fish aren't quite as curious. Walleyes, it takes a little more work.
But the office scenery keeps the job interesting.
When you get down there and watch these fish in their world, to me, they're just all magnificent. I don't have a favorite fish. I love them all. You know, people accuse me of being an artist all the time, and I totally reject that. The fish do all the work. They're inherently beautiful. I'm just kind of trying to document what I see.
Key word here is see.
The first part is you need really clear water. If you don't have really clear water, I'm talking 18 feet or better, nothing else matters. The second thing is you need to find fish. The third part of the equation is you've got to be able to get really close to the fish. We typically don't shoot a fish unless we can get 2 or 3 feet away. Once they allow you to get close enough, then you've got to, as a photographer, get the picture.
Most people think that all we do is jump in the water and take pictures. But look at this boat, look at the gear. It's all gear intensive, and it's a lot more complicated than that.
Underwater, as you can see, the rules of life change a bit. Sometimes the fish don't bite. And now we know sometimes fish don't want to be photographed. Anglers everywhere will sympathize.
They'll say something like, wow, we've been fishing out there all day. Didn't get a bite. Did you see anything? And I'll go, well, yeah, you know, the lake is teeming with fish. I'm just filled with gratitude. Anytime you can do something you love and make some money at it at the same time, I wouldn't trade places with anyone else.
Up next, Laura Shera tags along with a few ladies wading into the world of fly fishing.
Minnesota Bound, brought to you by Minnesota Select GMC Dealers, Connecticut, and by Starkey Hearing Technologies.
Welcome back. You know, the sport of fly fishing seems to scare a lot of people. But daughter Laura Shera found some women willing to enter into the field of fly fishing and getting some help along the way.
Today, it's ladies only at Kinni Creek Lodge in River Falls, Wisconsin.
Yeah, that is a goal for today, is to catch some fish, otherwise we'll be in trouble.
Laughing, bonding, and having fun are also on the agenda.
Too many talking women in the water? What? Did you have any nibbles up there? Nothing.
The guys might just disown me. They won't give me any flies anymore if I show you my fly box.
Yeah, I gave you my good one. It means we're friends, Paige. Yeah, I think I might have caught a big one. Holy mackerel. Woo! Woo! I think it's beer 30. Okay, Paige, what's up with your Kinni River here? I think it's the people who are standing in it.
As the support we had for each other, we felt like a band of girls ready to take on the trout world. Kinni Creek Lodge is here for just that reason, to get more women outdoors and fly fishing on the water.
I opened the Kinni Creek Lodge and Outfitters fly shop back at the turn of the century, so this is my 14th season. Here at the Kinni Creek Lodge and Outfitters fly shop, we have a ladies fly fishing club called the Broadcasters, and we get together once a month and just try and have fun. We don't necessarily, you know, our goal isn't necessarily to even catch fish. We just want to get together and relax and enjoy the outdoors and the stream and each other's company, and so it works out really great.
The Broadcasters is the perfect name for the perfect river that has been broadcasted as one of the best trout streams in the Midwest.
God bless it.
We are really quite close. It's only about a 25-minute drive from St. Paul. So you don't have to go way to Montana or Wyoming or somewhere out west to an expensive destination. You can just slip over here for the day, or you can just stay the night and fish for a couple of days.
A couple of days may not be enough time to get away from reality, because it seems that fly is the tie that bonds these ladies together.
You have this common thread that goes through your lives, so no matter what's going on in your lives, whether it's, you know, something at work or something in your family or illness or whatnot, we always have this one central piece to come back to, which is, you know, very therapeutic. It's very good medicine.
The camaraderie is awesome. The wine afterwards is even better, but we probably should have started with the wine the way the fishing is going today.
We were determined to outsmart those trout.
I didn't bring my net.
Whew, that was a close call. An all-girls day on the water couldn't go without a trout on the end of someone's line.
Oops, there he goes. And he's swimming.
And he's gone.
Bye-bye.
It was the perfect way to wrap up the day. Or was it?
Cheers, ladies.
Here's to a good day on the water.
Thanks for a great day.
Yes.
Good friends, good fishing, good wine.
One fish. One fish and good wine.
Cheers.
Very good.
Here's the test.
When we return, time to go wild in the kitchen. Today's special, all about cooking trout.
Closed captioning is brought to you by The Yard, premier manufacturers of maintenance-free outdoor patio furniture and accessories from recycled plastic.
Time to go wild in the kitchen. Trout are fun to catch, but they're also good to eat if you cook them right. Laura Shera is wild in the kitchen.
Today we're getting wild in the kitchen with Chef Jim from Fire Lake Grill House and Cocktail Bar. And Chef Jim, I understand that we are combining kitchen cooking with campfire cooking today.
We're cooking in a kitchen, but this recipe is definitely suitable for a campfire.
I love it. And it's summer season, which means it's trout season, and that's what we're grilling up?
Yeah, it's trout, and we've got an abundance of produce, and this is going to be a great, quick, easy summer kind of dish.
I love it. Let's get started.
So, first thing we want to season the fish. We've got this beautiful rainbow trout, very light, delicate meat, a little bit of salt and pepper. So now that our fish is seasoned, the next step is to put it in a preheated cast iron skillet.
Okay.
We put a little olive oil down first. That's going to keep it from sticking. And then I just laid the seasoned fish right on top of the olive oil.
And now we're going to add some lemon?
We are. We're going to slice some lemon, chop a little dill, give it a little bit more flavor, nice fresh flavor.
All right.
All right, so we're going to slice this lemon really nice and thin.
Need a sharp knife for that.
Sharp knife helps, definitely. You want about 6 slices, just enough to cover the fillet.
Okay.
Here we go. And we're also going to chop the dill, and if you want to give me a hand chopping that dill.
Of course. So start on this side?
Start on that side.
Don't lose a finger in the process.
Don't cut your finger, please.
This is looking professional, Jim.
Very professional. And this is how easy it is. Just take these lemon slices.
Okay.
We're just going to put about 3 on each side.
1, 2, 3.
We're going to take that fresh dill and just kind of sprinkle that right over the fish.
So now we're going to add the good stuff, the veggies.
The veggies, yes we are. So we've got some great heirloom tomatoes. And you don't have to get fancy with these cuts. Just cut them into nice bite-sized pieces.
I
Take
love
the core
heirloom
out.
tomatoes.
Yeah, these are delicious. They're definitely a treat when they're in season.
That's for sure. So we have corn, potato, green bean, and tomato, all going into the pan.
We have them all going into the pan.
It's like the whole garden's going in.
Pretty much.
Okay. So just on the side?
Just sprinkle them around just randomly. And last but not least, we need those great heirloom tomatoes on there.
Too. Look at all the color in that pan. Beautiful.
We're going to cover it up with a lid because we got all that nice natural moisture from those fresh vegetables in there. We'll actually trap that moisture in there and it almost steams the trout a little bit.
As much as I would love to be sitting around a campfire right now, we are cooking in the kitchen. So where are we going to cook this?
The closest we have to a campfire here is our pizza oven, so we're going to use that today.
All right, Jim, I'm getting a little hungry here. Has it been 7 minutes yet?
It has been 7 minutes.
Okay.
I think it's ready.
All right, let's check it out.
Should we check it out?
Yes.
Here's the test. Let's see how we did.
Ooh,
What do you
it's
think?
Sizzling. It looks done to me. Fantastic.
I think it's done. Looking pretty good.
Yes. So there you have it. It's campfire cooking in the kitchen here at Fire Lake. And as always, Chef Jim, it's so easy to do, yet wildly delicious.
What do you think?
So good.
Excellent.
Hi, I'm Rob Drieslein, Managing Editor of the Outdoor News Publications. 6 moose calves are now on exhibit at the Minnesota Zoo in Apple Valley after their journey south from the northeastern portion of the state. Female moose abandoned the calves after DNR researchers placed collars on the young moose earlier this spring. Why'd they end up abandoned? Well, the Minnesota DNR began a moose mortality research study in 2013 to try to understand why moose numbers, especially calves, are declining in northeastern Minnesota. But the cow moose abandoned their calves after researchers captured and collared them during the study's first year, so the DNR contacted the zoo about taking calves this year in case it happened again. It did. In a last-ditch effort, the researchers adjusted their tactics this spring, so they're only spending 60 seconds collaring calves. It appears the new approach has worked, and cow moose are sticking by their youngsters. In the meantime, the 6 calves abandoned before the DNR switched its techniques, well, they'll be well fed in captivity for many years to come. Of the 6 calves, 4 are female and 2 are male, and they're not the first calves to come to the zoo after being orphaned. For regular updates on how this research plays out and on the general health of Minnesota's moose herd, read the print edition of Outdoor News or check us out online at outdoornews.com. I'm Rob Drieslein.
Coming up, our Minnesota Bound Classic remembers a fishing trip with a special fishing partner with a close connection to heaven. That's next.
Minnesota Bound, brought to you by Jesse Treble Foundation Systems and Safe Basements Waterproofing, Radco Truck Accessories, Game Fair, and by Seven Clans Casino.
Coming up, our Minnesota Bound Classic. You know, some of us on the water trying to catch a fish, we might look up and pray a little bit for a bite. Our next story is about a man who really doesn't have to do that.
When people ask where the fish are, I always tell them the same answer: off the point. They say, well, which point? I said, well, that's fishing.
Meet Father Tom.
When you catch small fish, you got to have other things going on.
At the age of 66, Father Tom is an avid fisher of fish.
Now, if you were a fish, like, would you go for that?
And also a longtime fisher of wayward souls.
The church is the church, people are people, wherever you are, that's fine.
Father Tom Fitzgerald is the priest at the Church of St. Genevieve in Centerville, Minnesota.
If you live in Minnesota, I don't think most people fish. It's just part of life. Any bites?
No.
No.
Father Tom's fishing partner, Ron Lentz, was a high school chum.
Ron and I were number 1, number 2 in the class.
Yeah? Number 1, number 2 what?
It's not that important.
That's the question.
It's not that important. When you're fishing, you think of all kinds of things. But mainly it's just being there and being alive and enjoying the day. And being grateful to have the opportunity to fish. In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit.
Being grateful for the world around us is one of his Sunday messages.
No matter how good you are, what your talents are, if you don't have love, it doesn't do you any good. It doesn't do you any good. I pretty much go by what the Gospels are about, the Scriptures, but you know, Jesus picked fishermen, so I mean, there's lots of natural places where you can talk about fishing.
And when the Lord's work is done...
Okay, here we go! Fishing! There we go. First fish.
Suddenly, angling heaven was raining, well, little fish.
Ron, I caught a fish. Oh, Ron, that's even smaller than the last one I caught. I think it was just hatched yesterday.
Did I mention that they were running small?
Oh, it's so cute. Isn't that a cute fish?
All ye who wet a fishing line, thou cannot predict the best fishing time. When do fish bite? Only the heavens can say. Far better thou seek luck when an angler doth pray.
Oh, I got a big weed.
Our fishing priest has retired since we shot that story, and I'm told now he just fishes almost all of the time. I'm sure they're still biting. That about does it for us. Remember, introduce a kid to the great outdoors. I'm Ron Sherrill, and of course, always the star of the show. Who wants to be at the center of attention? Raven, yes.
Transportation provided by Premier Transportation, Call 1-800-899-7433. For more information on these stories and more, catch us on the web at mnbound.com.